Hey, welcome back to Yoga with Tim. Today we're going to do a Vinyasa yoga practice. I'm here with Cheyenne. Let's begin in child's pose. All right, so in yesterday's video, we worked on getting more in touch with your back body when you're breathing. We did that whole Uddiyana Bandha thing to make sure that you're stimulating the breath into your back ribs, not just flaring your front ribs, which is a tendency when people first learn to start to open up their chest in yoga. If your posture is like this all the time and you're learning to open up, we tend to push from this area in our body. So that's a great thing to incorporate as you're practicing from now on. It wasn't like we did that yesterday and then you're done, you're good. You have to think about that, or you want to try and remember that each day you practice. Okay, but it doesn't have to be so aggressive as that technique that you learned where you're sucking it in. Maybe a fraction of that. Come into downward facing dog now. And often we start off with these poses that are opening up your back body, like child's pose, down dog, uttanasana, all to start to stimulate the breath into the back body where we're not used to breathing. Then walk your feet up to the front of your mat and fold forward. Let your head drop. Then bring your hands onto your hips and come all the way up to stand. All right, good. So as you stand in mountain, raise your arms up to the ceiling. Stretch the arms up overhead. Then drop your left arm to your side and reach over to your left. As you reach over, stretch down through your right hip, down towards your heel, and breathe more space through your side body. Then come back up, raise your left arm, and drop your right arm to your side, and reach over to your right. And as you stretch down through your left hip, breathe space through your left side ribs. Then come back up, raise both arms up. Good. Then bring your right knee up and hug your right knee towards your chest, both hands to your knee. When your knee comes up, your left thigh will want to sink forward and down. Instead, pull your left thigh bone back up and stand tall up over your ankle. Then raise your right arm up and reach through your pinkie as you push down through your left heel. Then lower your hand and your knee. Change sides, bring your left knee up, both hands to your left knee. When that knee comes up, try not to lean back at all. Keep your ribs balanced right over top of your pelvis. Reference the bottom rib cage when you're referencing the ribs. Then take your left arm up and pull that right thigh bone back up as you stand as tall as you can over your right ankle. Good, so we'll call this hand to knee stretch. Lower and change sides, hand to knee stretch on the other side. Left hand to right knee, right arm up. We'll often start off on our back doing this, so this is just a more advanced variation to do it standing. Still hold from your middle, lift up from your pelvic floor and your belly. Change sides. Good, then lower your hand and your knee down. Now with your arms at your side, without your pelvis wiggling forward and back, bring your right knee up to hip height. And then tap your right big toe behind you, just to start to warm up your hip flexors. Inhale your knee up. And exhale, stretch it back behind you. Stretch the buns down towards the heel as you do. And bring your knee up. Exhale, reach it behind you. Inhale your knee up. Exhale, reach it behind you. Good, then change sides. Inhale your left knee up. Exhale, reach it behind you. Inhale your knee up. Exhale, reach it behind you. Practice good posture as you're doing this. Inhale your knee up. Exhale, stretch it behind you. Hold, move the buttock down into the heel, and then release. All right, then take your arms out to the side. Turn your biceps and your thumbs out, and raise the arms all the way up to the ceiling like we did in the strap on the head class that day. Then exhale like a swan dive, spread your arms out, little bend in the knees as you tip forward. Good. Inhale, flat back, elongate your spine. Step back one leg at a time, plank pose. Hold in your plank, strong in your core. Raise your left leg 1 inch without twisting. Keep those collarbones broad. Change legs, raise your right leg up 1 inch. Hold there. Set that foot down, set your knees down. Spread your collarbones from the center to the shoulders, then shift forward and lower slowly to elbow height. Pause there, spread that chest, and lift back up. Good, then try it with legs straight if you can. Shift forward, lower slow to elbow height. Pause there, lift back up. Oh, look pretty good. Downward facing dog, stretch back. Then walk your feet all the way up to the top of your mat. Inhale, flat back, elongate your spine. Exhale, fold forward. Press down into your feet. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Raise your arms up. Exhale the hands to your heart. Inhale, raise your arms. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back, elongate. Step back one leg at a time into plank. So you can always do it with knees down, remember. Otherwise, shift forward, legs straight, and lower slowly to elbow height. Inhale, up dog, point your toes back. Now hold here and rotate from the inner shoulder to the outer shoulder. Turn the inner thigh up to the ceiling, the outer thigh down. Then lift from your belly up to your chest and stretch back to down dog. Good. Raise your right leg up from the inner thigh behind you. Then shift into plank pose and pull your knee up to your chest. Lift up high. As you inhale, slowly lower the knee. Tap it to the floor and reach your heart forward. Exhale, pull your knee back up. Inhale, slowly lower your knee. Exhale, pull back up. One more time. Inhale, slowly lower your knee. Exhale, pull back up. Step your foot all the way up to your thumb. Good. Then hug your right hip in and prepare your back heel for warrior one. Angle that back foot in a little more than halfway, a little more than 45 degrees. Even if you have to step it closer, that's fine. Then start to reach both sit bones back towards the wall behind you. Then lift from your belly and come straight up through the midline, warrior one. Good. Turn your left ribs towards the front wall. Turn from your triceps forward and let the back of the neck spread as you energize the arms. Bring your hands back down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. Optional chaturanga push-up here. You can hold in plank. Otherwise, lower slowly to elbow height and lift straight back up. Downward facing dog. Stretch back. Raise your left leg from the inner thigh. Shift into plank pose. Pull your knee up to your chest. Inhale, slowly lower your knee down. Exhale, pull it back up. Inhale, slowly lower your knee. Exhale, pull it back up. Inhale, slowly lower. Exhale, pull your knee back up. Now step your foot all the way up by your thumb. Good. Prepare your back heel for warrior one. Step it a little closer and turn the heel down. Now, as we learned yesterday, Cheyenne is a little challenged in her ankle and calf mobility. It's a little bit of a struggle to get into this pose. Or is our little inside joke? I'm always messing with her in this pose. Okay, so see if you can reach through your back heel and still aim the sit bone straight back and then come up through your middle. Good. Then start to rotate from your outer thigh forward, inner right thigh spins back, and turn from your right ribs towards the front wall. So it's nice just to see these things on different bodies. Like, yeah. Bring your hands back down and step back, plank pose, hold there. Optional chaturanga push-up, lower slowly, lift straight back up, downward facing dog. All right, look in between your hands, step or hop up to the front of your mat. Inhale, Ardha, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Next we're gonna do chair pose with the block. No, I'm kidding. Okay, sit your hips back like you're sitting in a chair. Take your arms straight out in front of you. Okay, pretend like you're holding a block in between your hands. We're joking because we have these awful heavy wooden blocks. They weigh like 10 pounds. And to hold these wooden blocks is awful, it's so hard. Okay, but pretend like you're holding a block in between your hands to firm your arms, firm your triceps. But at the same time, as you firm your arms, the tendency will be to round and close your chest. Still keep your chest open, your collarbones broad as you firm your arm muscles. Nice. Now drop your buns back a little bit deeper. Good. Keep your rib cage aiming towards your pelvis. And now slowly start to raise your arms up, keeping the arms firm without tipping the bottom of the rib cage forward. Breathe. Strong tricep muscles. The arm bones plug, the inner arm bones plug into the socket, but the arm muscles stretch. Good, then keep your arms up as you come all the way up to stand. Stand, grow tall up over your ankles from your pelvic floor and your belly, and stretch through your legs into your feet. Good, then bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, chair pose. Let's just run through a B salutation now. Exhale, fold forward. Of course, modify for shoulder things, low back things if you need to. Inhale, flat back. Step back and lower to chaturanga. Modification for shoulders is to set the knees down. Upward facing dog, or for low backs, do cobra instead. Down dog, exhale. Step your right foot, warrior one. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot, warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Good, hold in your dog pose, breathe. Then step your right foot, warrior two. Inhale, come up. Back heel down, open up to your side. Good, and warrior two, practice balancing your ribs right over your hips and your head right over top of your pelvis. Turn the right thigh from inside out so the knee points straight ahead. Then straighten out your right leg and bring your hands to the top of your pelvis, the pelvic rim. And with a little bend in your right knee, start to tip your pelvis out over your right thigh. And see if you can keep all that length on your right side body. Maybe even tip the pelvis a little more. And you can let this right hip move back as you tip. It'll take you deeper into the pose. Then put your hand down onto the block, or shin, or whatever you like to put your hand onto. Once you get your hand down there, reach these right side ribs forward. And then start to turn your chest from there. Spin these back ribs down to your right hand. Then take your arm up. Okay, now you can step into half moon. If it's too much for you today, you could just do side angle instead. So bend your right knee, left hand on your hip. Hang out there or with the left arm overhead, or step up into half moon. Slide your hand and foot in front of your pinky. Raise your back leg up. Good. Energize through that back heel. Reach straight back. Then move those right ribs just like you did in triangle pose. Then turn and maybe take your arm up. Turn from those ribs like you did in triangle. Good. Now bend your right knee and as smooth as you can, slide back to triangle pose. If you were in the side angle, just straighten your leg now. Come up to stand. Bend your right knee and bring your hands to the mat. Vinyasa. If you're modifying for shoulder or back stuff, just skip the vinyasa and go back to down dog. Step your left foot, warrior two. Inhale, come up. Good. So balance yourself. Pretend like you're a snowman with a pelvis ball, a rib snowball, and a head ball. And balance all those balls right up on top of each other. Don't let one sneak behind or in front of the other, otherwise your snowman will fall over. From the comments, some viewers can relate to that lately. They've been complaining about their snow situation while we're frolicking on the beach in 70-degree weather here. Okay, sorry. Now straighten your left leg, hands onto your pelvis, and then start to tip from your pelvis out over your thigh. Let your pelvis turn slightly to the left. Don't try to square it off. And then tip even more as you put your hand down wherever you like it. Where we have it on the block. If you have difficulty getting your blocks, on Craigslist you can find like yoga slaves that could come hand you blocks and do adjustments. Like I'm sure you can find anything there. Okay, now start to lengthen from those left side ribs, move them forward, and then turn those left back ribs into your left hand. Then take your right arm up. Nice. Then from here, bring your hand onto your hip and bend your left knee. You can hang out in side angle for 5 breaths or go ahead for half moon. Slide your hand a foot in front of your pinky toe and step it up. Good. Now lengthen those left side ribs just like you did in triangle and then start to turn those ribs. Good. Then take your right arm up to the ceiling once you're steady. And turn your left outer hip back just slightly towards your right heel. Then bend that left knee and as smooth as you can, slide back to triangle. Open up big. Press down through your feet. Inhale, come back up to stand. Bend your knee, hands to the mat. Step back, down dog, or take a vinyasa, your call. All right. From down dog, hop to seated. Good. Put your feet down in front of you and take your arms forward. Okay, so reach down through all 4 corners of your feet. Have your knees pointing straight up to the ceiling. As you inhale, start to lower down onto your back halfway, like you're gonna roll down onto your back. Keep the feet down. And as you exhale, come back up. Pretend like someone's standing on your feet so they can't move at all. Inhale, slowly lower. And exhale from your belly, come back up, from your pelvic floor and from your low abs. Inhale, slowly roll yourself down. Exhale, come back up. Good. Now come into boat pose. So that's kind of like the preparation to teach you. If you go to like a Vinyasa yoga class, they'll often have you go from this pose, boat pose, into low boat pose, which is really advanced and it's pretty gnarly on your lower back. So that last variation, that's to teach you the strength and coordination to be able to do it. Let's try it and just see how it goes. From boat pose, as you inhale, lower slowly to low boat pose, the legs go straight and you lower back halfway, and then exhale, come back up. Good. If it went well, we'll try it one more time like that. If it didn't go well, just set your feet down. Inhale, slowly lower. Exhale, back up. Then put your hands a foot behind you, put your feet down. Turn your shoulder heads back and open up across your chest. Then start to lift your hips up without your shoulders rolling in. Keep turning the inner shoulder, the outer shoulder, chest open, lift up the buns. Good job. Then lower your buns down. All right, and we're going to show it the introductory way. But if you want to do it the advanced way, you can do it. We're going to go 4 times in and out of that last one. Arms forward, feet down. Good. As you inhale, slowly lower. Exhale, come back up. This is where you need the Craigslist yoga slave for. Inhale, slowly lower. Exhale, back up. Inhale, slowly lower. Exhale, back up. 4 times, okay. Inhale, slowly lower. Last one. Hold there, hold there, hold there. Now raise your right leg up. And you take it straight up now. You might lower a little bit more to make it happen. Good. Yeah, and then bring both hands up and over to the outside of the ankle. That's what I'm talking about. Now we're doing it. And then change sides. Go up and over to the outside of the left ankle. Yeah, the leg could be straight now. You might be able to use your core better in this position. Change sides. Change sides. Good. Now both legs up, arms up, crunch up 1 more inch, arms forward, and then lower both legs halfway. But tuck the abs in as you do. Oh, squeeze those abs. Squeeze them more. Squeeze them even more. And then come back up into boat pose if you can. Ooh. And then cross your legs and step back to down dog. Nicely done. Good job. I think you did a good job. Were you cheating? You could have been cheating the whole time. I don't even know what you're doing. I hope you stuck with it. Okay, check it out. From down dog, step your right foot for crescent. Inhale your arms up. Then bring your hands to your heart. Stay upright as you twist to your right. Spread your arms out. And use the reach of the arms to turn the ribs more, but keep the length of the ribs like you did for triangle. Now lean your chest out over your knee. And step up into twisted half moon, or just put your hand down and twist with the back leg down. Otherwise, hand could go down, block or floor, however tall you like it. Raise your back leg up to hip height. Then turn from the ribs. Keep reaching straight back to that back leg, lengthen through those side ribs, and turn. And fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back. Step back to dog or take a vinyasa. Then step your left foot for crescent. Inhale, come up. Bring your hands to prayer. Stay upright as you twist to your left. Then spread your arms out and use the reach of your arms to help turn your ribs more. Good. Start to lean your chest out over your knee. And then step up. Good. Point that right pinky toe down. Reach straight back to your right heel. Lengthen through your spine. Turn with your arms. And fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back. Step back to dog or take a vinyasa. Lie down on your belly. Clasp your hands behind your back. Lift up into locust pose. Lift the shoulders, head, chest, legs up off the mat. Turn the thighs into neutral so that all four corners of your knees point straight down to the floor. Reach back long through your big toes. Then lower yourself back down. Take a breath. Change the interlock. Interlock your hands behind your back, other index finger on top. Then lift the shoulders, head, chest up off the mat. Turn those thighs into neutral position. Now this round, bend your knees and bring your heels close towards your buttock. If you can reach back and grab a hold of your feet easily, go ahead. And then stretch through the legs, open up through your chest. Good, and lower yourself back down. So back bends are really stimulating for your chakras, for the energy centers up and down your spine. So just notice the feeling after you've done those back bends. It feels pretty cool. All right, stretch back into downward facing dog now. And let's learn the setup for the single leg pigeon, which is some controversy around this pose as of late with the knee situation. So we'll learn a healthy way for your knee. So step your right foot up by your right thumb and lower your back knee down to the floor. Then wiggle your foot over towards your left thumb and then turn the thigh out as much as you can. Now there's a spot where the shin won't sit down without the hips twisting, so bring your foot a little closer towards you until you can lay the shin down onto the floor without twisting your hips. And it looks different for everybody. Then start to scoot your left knee back until you feel a stretch in your outer right hip. Then instead of folding forward, we're going to do the upright variation, up on the fingertips. Do you want blocks? No? No. Okay. So you can use blocks. I like to use blocks because I'm pretty tight in my hips. The blocks help me to upright my chest better, but Shannon looks pretty good just on the fingertips. Whichever one you're doing, roll your shoulders back. So you're getting a twofer stretch here. You're getting a stretch in the front of the back hip on the back leg, like an up dog, and then your right outer hip. You should be feeling pretty decent stretch there. All right, change sides. So step the left foot up by your thumb, then wiggle your foot over towards your right thumb and start to turn your left thigh out so the knee moves adducts out to the side. Then start to scoot your right heel closer towards your hip or scoot your hips closer to your heel until you can set the shin down. So you don't want your hips twisting off to the right. You want the hips to be pointing, front hip bones to be pointing straight ahead-ish. Good. And the more open you get in this pose, the pelvis will start to drop closer towards the floor. Then stretch back, downward facing dog. All right. Set your knees down and transition to seated. Sit with your legs crossed in front of you. Then as you sit up straight, twist to your right. Left hand to the outside of your knee, right hand behind you. And just work on your upright seat as you're twisting. Change sides, twist to your left. Then come back to center and lie down onto your back for corpse pose. Final relaxation, Shavasana. So feet just a little wider than hip distance. Let your hands fall open at your side. And with each exhalation, let yourself sink a little deeper inward. And gently bend your knees. Roll over to your right side. And press yourself up to seated. Sit up tall with your palms together. Thank you. Namaste. All right, thanks for watching today. Thanks for practicing. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Questions, suggestions, and also subscribe if you haven't already. Hey, while we're at it, I want you to check out Cheyenna's Instagram. It's kind of confusing.
It is Shivasana.
Shivasana.
Cheyvassana.
Okay, check it out on there, and we'll see you next time.